The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Jakara of the Valorian Empire finished her eulogy. 300 cycles had passed since humanity's homeworld. Earth had been consumed by its dying star. The Sol system was now nothing more than cosmic dust and fading radiation signatures. "Let the records show," Jakara's translator chirped, "that humanity is hereby declared extinct. Their contributions to galactic culture, though brief, will be remembered in the archives of lost civilizations." Council members from 47 different species nodded their various appendages in solemn agreement. Humanity had been a curious addition to the galactic community, neither the strongest nor the most technologically advanced, but peculiar in their stubborn optimism and strange affinity for what they called backup plans. The memorial ceremony concluded, and the council moved on to mundane matters: trade disputes, territorial negotiations, the usual bureaucratic tedium that kept 1,000 worlds functioning. Humanity became another footnote in the vast encyclopedia of extinct species, until 6 cycles later, when the distress call changed everything. The mining ship Eternal Prophet had been extracting rare minerals from the asteroid belt of an unremarkable system when their drilling equipment struck something that shouldn't exist, a metal compound that predated their sensor's classification database. Before they could investigate further, their ship's systems began failing catastrophically. The distress call went out on all emergency frequencies, a desperate plea that echoed across nearby sectors. "This is Captain Threx of the Eternal Prophet. Hull breach imminent. Life support failing. Requesting immediate assistance. Coordinates attached. Please, anyone." 3 nearby vessels picked up the signal, but their calculations showed the same grim result. They were too far away. By the time any of them arrived, Captain Threx and his crew of 43 would be frozen corpses drifting among the asteroids. Then impossibly a new voice cut through the static. "Eternal Prophet, this is the UESS Perseverance. We've received your distress call and are adjusting course to intercept. ETA 32 minutes. Hang tight, Captain. Help is on the way." The voice was calm, professional, and unmistakably human. Captain Threx's translator fumbled over the words, unable to process what it had just heard. This is Eternal Prophet, who... What ship did you say?" "United Earth Spaceship Perseverance, Captain. We're a generation vessel, currently traveling through your sector. We're the closest responder to your position. But humans are extinct. Earth is gone," the Council declared. A dry chuckle came through the comm. "Yeah, we heard about that. Bit premature, don't you think? Earth might be gone, but humanity isn't tied to one rock. Now I need you to focus, Captain. How many crew members and what's your oxygen situation?" Training overrode shock. Threx rattled off the numbers while his crew stared at the communication panel as if it had grown a new appendage. 43 souls. Oxygen sufficient for 90 minutes, maybe less with the hull breach worsening. "Copy that. We'll make it with time to spare." True to their word, the human vessel arrived in 30 minutes flat. The Perseverance was unlike anything in modern galactic fleet design. A massive, ungainly cylinder rotating slowly in space, more flying city than spacecraft. It looked ancient by galactic standards, yet its approach was executed with precision that would make a military pilot envious. "Eternal Prophet, we're positioning for docking. Our medical team is standing by and we've got repair crews ready to patch your hull." Within the hour, all 43 crew members were safe aboard the human vessel, watching in amazement as human engineers, actually humans, alive and working, sealed the breach with practiced efficiency. The corridors of the Perseverance stretched into the distance, lined with hydroponic gardens, residential modules, and what appeared to be entire neighborhoods. Captain Threx found himself in a medical bay, an oxygen mask pressed to his face, staring at the human doctor who just saved his life. She was young, with dark skin and kind eyes, wearing a uniform that bore the emblem of a world that no longer existed. "I don't understand," Threx managed. "How? We saw Earth die. The Council sent observation vessels. The planet was consumed." Dr. Sarah Chen nodded sadly. "We know. We watched it happen from here 300 years ago. 20,000 of us aboard 12-generation ships launched decades before the sun's instability became critical." She smiled, though pain flickered in her eyes. Humanity saw it coming. We'd been preparing for centuries. Some people mocked us, called us paranoid. Turned out we were just realistic. "But why didn't you make contact? Let the Council know you survived?" Sarah's expression hardened slightly. We tried. 6 times over the past 3 centuries. Each time we were told Earth survivors had no legal standing without a homeworld, that we were refugees without nation, ineligible for council membership or protection. So we stopped asking for permission and just kept going. 20,000 became 40,000. We've established way stations, built new ships, kept moving forward. Threx felt shame burn through him. He remembered the bureaucratic arguments, the endless debates about resource allocation to defunct civilizations. The Council had effectively erased humanity rather than help them. The memorial, he said quietly. They held a funeral for your species. We know. We listened to Ambassador Jakara's eulogy. It was nice, actually. Very poetic. Sarah's smile turned wry. But humanity doesn't need elegies, Captain. We need to be left alone to do what we do best. Survive, adapt, and help anyone who needs it. Because that's what humans do. We saw your distress call, and there was never a question of whether we'd respond, only how fast we could get here. Later, as the Eternal Prophet prepared to depart with a new hull patch and full supplies, gifts from the humans who'd asked nothing in return, Captain Threx composed his report to the Council. He chose his words carefully, knowing they would spark outrage, debate, and ultimately change. Humanity is not extinct. They are here, in the dark between stars, doing what they have always done. Surviving against impossible odds and extending hands to those in need. The Council declared them dead, but we were wrong. We were very, very wrong. As his ship pulled away, Threx watched the Perseverance resume its eternal journey through the cosmos. Somewhere aboard that vessel, 40,000 humans lived, dreamed, and planned for a future their ancestors would never see. They carried no homeworld, no seat on the Council, no recognition from galactic civilization. They carried something better. The unshakable human conviction that extinction was just another problem to solve, and that the worst thing you could do when someone called for help was to fail to answer. In the vast records of the Galactic Council, humanity's status would soon change from extinct to nomadic civilization. But among the spacers, traders and travelers of 1,000 worlds, a new saying began to spread. If you're dying in the dark, pray a human hears you. They always come. They always have. And they always will. Because humanity, it turned out, was far too stubborn to stay dead.